Welcome back to the 13th episode of the Editor Cast featuring Tribe from, I guess he works for Parallel nowadays. Please introduce yourself.
I am Tribe, and I edit, I guess.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am also doing pretty great. It's been a pretty hectic week for me, but I'm happy that I'm getting back to this. Because we did skip last week, even though I do this weekly. And yeah, I'm happy that I got getting to talk to you for this week's podcast. So we'll get straight into the questions. The first and the most, I'm pretty sure, the most wanted question is, how did you get the name Tribe? Why did you choose Tribe?
So basically, how I found my name, it wasn't like super crazy. So the 7 is like my lucky number, and I was going. I got the name originally just for like doing music, and it wasn't like for like editing and stuff. And I went on like Apple Music, looked up like that name, like 7 Ribe, which would be Tribe, but I didn't see it on there, so I took it and I ran with it.
Okay. So this was pretty, like, it just came to you? Why Tribe?
I don't know, it just sounded cool to me, I guess.
Okay, I mean, I thought there'd be a more, I guess, yeah, like you said, it isn't profound, but I thought it'd be profound because tribe is just not that common of a word like that people use. I don't know.
Yeah.
Alright. Secondly, something I asked everybody who comes onto the podcast: when and how did you start editing?
So originally, like when I was like a kid, I'd always like take pictures and I'd go through the pictures really fast. And that's how I found like stop motion. And so I started doing like different like stop motion animations and with like Legos and stuff. And I stopped doing that for a while, and I got Sony Vegas when I was like 12. And I would just do like little tiny like videos on there, like maybe like put somebody's face on another person's face or do like green screen explosions. And then later when I was like 15, that's when I got After Effects, and I've just been using that since.
Alright, so you edit Fortnite right now for Team Parallel, right?
I'm not part of Team Parallel, but I made one like montage for them.
Okay.
For the channel.
And should we expect more from Parallel that you're gonna be editing?
I would not expect any more from Parallel.
Okay,
Parallel.
so were you okay, so I'm not entirely sure, but were you a COD editor before you started doing Fortnite?
I did edit one COD video for my friend who was on console when I was like 13, and I was on like Vegas. But after that, I didn't touch it. I didn't touch COD at all.
But what was the first game that you properly started editing on?
Fortnite.
So you started on Fortnite. Most people, you're probably already aware, with Fortnite being the newer editing community, it gets a lot of hate regarding that. Have you ever faced anything like that since you're working with? I mean, Parallel's a pretty big team, and like your Twitter is doing pretty well. It's over 2K followers, and so have you ever faced any negative just backlash for no reason just because you edit Fortnite?
Yes, I have. But I'm actually friends with the person now that like was hating on me.
Okay. So is this like the kind of person you are? Because I know some people who just naturally are so open that even that people that just like, if someone swears at you, you become friends with them. Is that like the kind of person you are?
I try to be, yes. Sometimes it's a little bit harder. And you just got to give it time. But over time, like you got to get to know the person and the reason why they're hating on you. They probably have a reason, and you just got to understand where they're coming from as well.
All right. Next up, something a lot of editors face difficulty with, and is the most important aspects of an editor's like career, sort of. What motivates you, and what would you recommend to people who are finding it hard or are demotivating?
Honestly, on like when I don't feel like editing at all, it's usually because I just have like creative block. I can't figure out what I want to do with like an edit, or I can't like I don't really know like what I want to do that's different, because it's hard being like it's hard coming up with new ideas. So what you got to do is you got to combine other people's ideas into your own. And what I do is I'll just watch other people's edits, like COD editors who have like already paved the scene for the Fortnite editors. Um, so I also, before Fortnite, I did edit other things, but I didn't edit video games. So a lot of the things I've come up with for Fortnite are actually old ideas that I had from when I was editing previously.
So before Fortnite.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any specific names that motivate you or inspire you?
Definitely. Most of the people from Venexa Arts, like Stu, Tylenol Addict, Nick, some Fortnite editors like Lofa and Janesy. I first actually got back into Fortnite editing because of Janesy and Lofa, or Yanezi, and just because they were doing like just unique things. Everybody was doing the same thing when I stopped doing Fortnite, so I just didn't want to get back into it. But then I saw Yanezi and Lofa doing different things, so I got back into it. I wanted to try it out again, and I was having fun.
Okay, so so are these people your friends now?
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. I mean, it's sometimes I do like I'm the kind of person who loves nostalgia and stuff, and I do look back on progress, and when I see someone who I used to look up to be my friend now, it's pretty motivational, that in itself. So yeah, that's pretty cool. What stage of like your education are you in right now? School, college? What are you doing now?
Actually, I graduated from my community college, and right now I'm just working full time.
Okay, so you're working a 9 to 5 job.
Yes.
So have you ever found it hard to maintain the job and this editing thing you have going on?
Yes, very. Because it's
Um,
either you got to do 2 out of 3 things. You either do social life and your job, or your job and editing. And right now I'm just doing my job and editing and some social life, but it's not as much as it used to be. Just because I'm trying to like edit full time, so I'm just getting through some projects right now, so that I can move on to full time editing.
right, so you do want to do full-time editing and quit doing whatever you're doing in real life.
Yes.
So so this is one of the questions actually. Do you think video game editing is a valid career option? Does it, or even editing in general? And if you think that is a yes, does that include video game editing?
I do think editing is a very valid career path, and that's the reason I want to get into it. But in terms of video game editing, I definitely think in the future, and even now, the top of the top like video game editors are making a career for themselves. Like Enigma. Enigma is a big one that I think of because he does the 3D, and he really like. I feel like he's really made a career for himself in this field.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I would personally go down the road for, like video game editing. I don't know what it is. I just don't have as much fun video game editing as I do editing other things. But video game editing is definitely a career path I think in the future will grow a lot more than it is right now.
All right, so you just said that you don't enjoy video game editing as you do as as you do other things. What do those other things include?
I like motion design. I'm gonna be learning motion design a lot more after these current projects I'm working on. And video game editing is very fun, but like currently for me, it's not something I enjoy doing that much. And I definitely want to escape the video game editing path and just move on to like content editing, which is a very I feel like that's really like big now, is like content editing and motion design, which can be translated to other careers as well.
Okay. So what is the reason you got into video game editing at all if you enjoyed other stuff more?
So like after I did a previous editing, I did Instagram editing, and I had a lot of fun doing that. Over time, I got really bored of it, and I stopped. I quit completely for like 2 years, and I saw video game editing. I saw like Fortnite, because I got into Fortnite like when in like 2017, like when it first came out. I didn't like get really big into it. I've never really been huge into video games. Like never been like good at video games, or just like I don't know. I just never really got into video games too much. But once in a while, I'd edit the game. Not too much. I used to do like the cinematic intro type things.
Oh
and,
yeah, a lot of people did that in 2019.
Yeah. That was like early in 2019. I started doing that, and I also did a lot of like motion design projects in Fortnite. So what I would do is I'd make supporter creator intros for like different YouTubers and stuff. And after that, I wanted to try editing Fortnite. So what I did is somebody that I really liked watching was Shaail, who was like the best creative player at the time, and I wanted to edit for him because I really liked his videos, and I thought his music choices were always like really like, I don't know, just really nice. And so I went into his stream one day, and I asked him if I could edit for him, and he said yeah. And from there, I made that video for Shaail, which was my first Fortnite edit.
Okay. So this question that I'm about to ask was introduced actually last podcast when 12th Hours was on, and this was a viewer question, but I found it really interesting. So this is something that I'm almost going to be asking every next person that comes on. Who was your first big client? Like, you know, the person you worked with, or when you got the offer, you knew that, okay, this is going to be big. This is going to progress my career as an editor.
Shaail was definitely my first like client that I knew was like big. That would actually like go big, because I've worked with bigger clients before, but it wasn't like something where I was gonna blow up from. It was more of just like I'll get the money and that'll be it. But for Shaail, I knew, because I was making a montage, that it was gonna blow up, and that it was gonna be like the start for me, like a big break for me. So from there, that's what I like. I knew from like the beginning of that project that it was gonna be like a big one.
Okay. So we see that, as you mentioned, Enigma does 3D, and 3D as a whole is getting massive, and more and more editors are moving into the 3D scene every single day. Do you have any plans of doing 3D anytime soon?
Yes. I wanna move into 3D animation, which would include motion design. So it'd be like a combination of 3D and 2D work, which is what I want to get into.
Okay.
That's what my actually.
So like expect type stuff. Do you know expect?
Expect?
Yeah, expect motion. He used to be an editor.
No, actually, I don't know too many editors.
No, he used to be a COD editor. Now he's just a full-time motion designer. He works at VBI. Yeah, Visuals by Impulse, something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, and those guys, Visuals by Impulse is actually like a really big editing team. they like legit like made an interactive face cam overlay for Lachlan, who's an Australian YouTuber. And the guy, like, it's so cool because the overlay is interactive. So basically, if he's on full health and full shield in Fortnite, the overlay is fully blue, and then when he takes damage, it like blinks red, and then it, according to the health, it adjusts the colors and stuff. So yeah, they're really cool guys.
Also, like,
BBI
kind of like game development and stuff.
Yeah, but it's like the group is overall, it's a visuals group. It's in the name, Visuals by Impulse. But they also like have other knowledge, and they like mix everything up, and they make the coolest stuff ever. Those guys and Paper Crowns are probably my favorite, most favorite like production teams, sort of. But yeah. So he does that kind of stuff. Expect used to be a card editor, and he had 3D intros and stuff, but he implemented motion design into his edits, and that was pretty cool to see.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So okay. Moving forward, have you ever felt that you're working non-stop without progressing? This can be in real life or in editing, where you're putting all your effort in. You're working every day, but you feel like you're stuck at one place. You're not progressing forwards.
Recently, no, but I've definitely felt that when I was doing editing commissions for Fortnite, because at the time I didn't even really care about the art, and I just cared about like getting money rather than just making a really insane edit. Like once in a while, I'd get like the motivation, but I just didn't have the same like drive to make an edit that I do now, that I do previously.
All right.
So yeah.
So okay, wait, I completely forgot to ask this. There was, you said you want to move into 3D. Have you tried anything yet, or are you just still thinking about it?
I've been working on a lot of 3D things for a project for NorCal, which should be coming out within a few weeks. I'm doing 3D. I did 3D for all of my previous edits. Probably the most involved in 3D was either the comical video or the Diamonds Dancing video. Those are like probably the biggest 3D I've done. But I'm getting more into 3D, learning new programs and stuff. So,
okay. So what's the base program for your 3D? Where did you start?
Blender. Blender is definitely like the one I'm most familiar with. I want to learn more Cinema 4D, which I do use sometimes, but not as much as I use Blender. So I definitely want to get into that more.
All right. So have you ever tried Unreal Engine?
Yes, I actually use Unreal Engine for a lot of my projects recently. The point graph or the point cloud.
Yeah. I remember watching that tutorial about point cloud stuff. That was cool. I wanted to try it out, but I never got around to it because I have a really bad PC. So.
Yeah, I did that for a few of my edits recently. Like the beginning of my Parallel project, that was Unreal Engine. A few other videos I use Unreal Engine as well.
Yeah, Unreal Engine is like, it's really, really powerful. It's real time most of the time. Like it's so it's real time, and it has such immersive controls. It feels like a fully fledged, like I don't think you have any disadvantage over Blender or Cinema 4D. Plus you get real time, and you can even get, like, if you don't like the renderer in Unreal Engine, I'm pretty sure you can get cycles and Octane and everything onto Unreal Engine too. So that would be my 3D program of choice that I want to learn after after I upgrade my PC. But yeah, do you plan on, like, what software do you plan on, like, mastering, so to speak?
There's two Blender and Cinema 4D are two of the ones I really want to master, because I feel like Blender I feel like is overlooked in the professional 3D world because it's a free program. But at the same time, you can do like, it's very easy to like navigate through. For me at least, I feel like if I really learned Cinema 4D, I could get into it a lot more. But currently, that's just not like the program I want to learn right away. I definitely want to learn a lot of things in it, but mostly Blender.
All right. That is pretty cool. Next up, we have if someone starts editing, like you were mentioning, when you started editing, you focused more on money and not the art itself. What do you think, in your opinion, if someone starts editing, should they focus more on improving themselves, which is mostly, in my opinion, is better if you do personal projects because nobody can limit you, or should you focus more at the making money sides of things? Because a lot of people have the argument that I make money, I buy a better PC so I can edit better. So what would you say about this argument?
There's definitely a lot of takes you can make from this. So personally, I would work on getting better at editing. That's definitely like the number one. If you are struggling with having like really bad like PC and problems with like just editing in general, and you can't like edit a full video without having like a really good PC, I would definitely work on your craft, and do at the same making money at the same time, because you can do both. But obviously, like each project that you're gonna do, you're gonna improve in. Even if you are making money, you're gonna improve if you put the time in. But I wouldn't just focus on getting the money right away. Originally, when I first started editing, it was more just for like the fun and just getting better. And then when I got into Fortnite, that's when I really started like to not care about. I really mostly cared about just getting the money, and that's because the money aspect was brought into it. Now that I don't really care about the money, I've got a full-time job. I don't really need the money. I can just kind of focus on the art itself.
All right. So, like you said, you don't enjoy video game editing. Have you ever tried out real life cinematic video editing?
Yes, I actually went to school for film and new media, which is like a combination of like graphic design, coding, film, and motion design, like just a bunch of different medias, audio, everything. And we learned a lot of stuff about like film. We learned how to shoot film. We learned how to like just overall put together a video in different programs too, like Avid Media Composer, Premiere, After Effects. I already had knowledge on After Effects and Premiere, but I learned different programs aside from those. So I have done a lot of videos outside of just gaming and Instagram, for like school and stuff.
Okay, so this Avid program, I remember there was this YouTuber who went to one of the launch events of one of the Mission Impossible movies, and he asked the director of the movie what video editing software they used, and they mentioned Avid, and that was the first time I heard about this program. So you said you used it. What is it like, better than After Effects, or what kind of a software is it?
It is the worst program on the planet.
Well, I mean, it seems like it's industry standard. I mean, the Mission Impossible movies are big movies.
It's industry standard, but it is a terrible program.
Wait, so you would rate After Effects higher than the Avid Media Composer thing?
Any day of the week. Premiere Pro, better than Avid Media Composer. iMovie, better than Avid Media Composer.
iMovie, damn, that
might be a stretch, but like that, it's close. It's close. It's a really bad program that I never want to touch.
Even being close, iMovie is like it's like one of those programs that you were given, it's like a family tool where you just go on a vacation, you put some photos together. That's the kind of program iMovie is.
Yeah.
So if Avid is as bad as that, being an industry standard software, that is like I can't understand that. I can't process that.
Okay, so here's the thing with Avid Media Composer. It's not meant for like effects or anything, obviously. It's more of just like a put the clips together type thing, and like sound, putting like sound and like clips together.
Okay.
But the thing is like they made like the interface is so you really gotta learn the program a lot. But the thing is the amount that you learn, you don't get out of it. Anybody can pick up Premiere Pro and be just as good as somebody that's on Avid Media Composer. Somebody that's been on Avid Media Composer for years. Somebody could be on Premiere for maybe a few months and be just as good.
Okay, I mean that's the thing, because it was like when I watched that video and he's like, I was actually like really excited to see the answer of that question, and when it was not After Effects, it wasn't anything that I'd ever thought about. He just went to Avid. I googled the program, I didn't find much information about it there too, for some reason.
It's just really
yeah, I guess it sounds like it's more of a compositing software.
It's definitely compositing. And it is like there's no other reason to use it besides compositing.
All right. I definitely want to look more into it, because I mean Mission Impossible movies are a big deal, and I don't know. Okay. Next up, if while doing client work, if your client limits you from doing a lot of things, first off, do you think that puts an improvement barrier on your work? Like, do you stop improving if your client has limited you from doing a ton of stuff?
100%. I've had that happen a lot of times. Especially like when I first started doing Fortnite editing, when the client like limited you from doing certain things, you didn't learn at all. You just don't learn at all when your client is not letting you do certain things with your project, not letting you have the creative freedom to do what you want. It is definitely a hindrance on like your skill.
And second is like if it does put an improvement barrier, like you say, should you keep working with a client like this? Like, say, like we said, like we discussed improving over money, at least at the start of an editor's career. But if let's assume this guy is not starting out as an editor, should this guy stay with this client for the money, or should he leave this opportunity to go look for other things and maybe miss out on a bit of money?
It really depends on your overall outlook, like your perspective on the art itself. If you're in it for more like about the money, or this is like a long time career for you, I would stick with the client. But if you see something that you feel like you could improve in and you could probably get farther in life with, take that next option, because it's not all about the money at the end of the day. It's about having fun with what you do and enjoying life.
All right, that is actually a really good response, better than I thought. Okay, next up we have a sort of a critical question. This is very arguable and debatable. There's a lot of arguments on this. In your opinion, what matters most in an edit? Flow, execution, creativity, pan and crop, whatever.
A lot of people are going to think that I'm going to say creativity. Not at all, because I've seen, especially lately, I've seen so many like really creative edits that are executed so poorly, it just ruins the creativity. And it's just like you need to have a grasp on editing itself before you start doing things that nobody else is doing. You need to make sure that you have a grasp on the program that you're using. You know how to have like all these the basic knowledge of an edit. And if you already have that knowledge and you want to try something that's different, go for it. But if you do not have like the basic knowledge of editing, if you don't know how to sync properly, if you don't know how to have flow, don't even touch the effects until you have the basic flow down and you have the basic velocity. A lot of people think that I learned recently and that I'm just throwing down effects, but the truth is I'm just learning how to use different things and how to incorporate certain things in my edit. I've already gone through the basics of editing. I'm trying to do something different. But the thing that I don't understand is people that are new to editing that are trying to start something different when they don't have the knowledge of editing at all.
Yeah, I mean, we all see it. Especially, I've hosted a few editing competitions, and judged them too, because I run a community by the name of Astral. If you don't know, it's like mostly known and operating in the Middle Eastern side of the world, because that's where I'm from too. And editing here it's like really a small, like it's like even worldwide it's a small community, but in the Middle East it's an even smaller portion. And the whole reason for starting that was to give editing community a little recognition. So we hosted competitions to put give some credit to the best editors in said community. And so when I ran these competitions, I saw a lot of entries where somebody is editing on Filmora, but their creativity, like they want to put like screen in screen effects, and they want to have flying planes, like 3D stuff, and they have no idea how to execute that stuff, but they have all these ideas. And
yeah,
I mean, okay, so I feel like there's only a few editors who can actually properly execute their ideas. Do you know Shaail?
Yeah.
So have you seen his recent, some of his recent edits, like Drip Too Hard?
Yes.
So how he incorporated that MacBook in like dripping too hard as to match the song and everything. It was smooth. It had like a thing to it. Did you think that was well executed?
Yes. I feel like a lot of he's like one of the few editors that I look at and think he has the creativity and he has the a lot of knowledge on the software, and he knows how to execute like the effects he does. And I'm actually going to be working with him very soon. I've been working with him for a few months, but we haven't actually finished. I haven't finished my part for the project just because of everything that's been going on. But expect an edit from me and Shaail soon.
That is cool. Shaail was actually one of the guests on here, and he is a part of the editing team that I was just talking about. But yeah, Shaail is a really nice person overall in general, but his ideas, he has great ideas and he has great execution. Like there are times when I look at I'm watching his edit for the first time and I'm like, how did he even think of doing that? Especially with him, like the one that with the oh god, okay, I'm going way too fast. The one with which he was introduced into NorCal, where he did the Siri thing, and that transition into the montage, I felt that was pretty creative. I don't think, like, I mean, probably somebody has already done like a voice assistant thing, but he did it pretty well. So yeah. So you never really actually exactly answered what is most important in an edit.
Execution.
Okay. I think Enigma, when he was on, he also mentioned execution. I think every good editor has this opinion, because at the end of the day, the creativity, the flow, the paragraph, everything comes down to how well you execute everything. Execution is like that one thing that binds everything together and makes it look good.
Exactly.
So yeah. Okay. Next up, what are the difficulties you started out? in like what are the difficulties you faced like when you started out in editing? Did you have PC problems, family not supporting, stuff like that? Any of that?
Biggest problem was just not having any knowledge on After. Well, I started off in Sony Vegas, but honestly, I was really young, so I didn't really have like a big grasp on like what you can and can't do in editing. So I wouldn't say I had too many struggles with editing just because I wasn't doing anything huge. So with not doing anything huge, you don't really have to worry about having problems with your PC because you're not putting too many effects on anything. You're kind of just doing simple stuff. And when I first started off with more advanced editing, I'd say the biggest issue I had was I guess I don't know. I guess I don't have an answer for that. What my biggest issue would be, like starting off.
So did you never face like PC stuff? Do you always have a good PC?
I've always had a laptop
Oh.
until last year I bought a PC, but until then I've always been on a laptop, never had a desktop, always just
Okay, and what laptop was that?
I used my parents' laptop when I was a kid, and then when I got older I bought it was a Lenovo Y700, which is actually a really good PC. I mean, a really good like laptop. It's an i7 processor. I don't know what the RAM is. I'm pretty sure it's 16 gigabytes of RAM or 8. I think it was 8, and it just worked for me. But obviously, yeah, sometimes it's a little bit hard to like.
No, but like, did you actually like ever feel that your rig was holding you back from doing something?
Yeah, now that's when I bought the PC, because I saved up the money and everything from doing commissions. That I just bought a PC.
All right. I mean, that's the main problem with me right now. I want to learn more 3D because that stuff intrigues me. I want to learn that and real life filmmaking. I want to get more into these two things, and I literally do not have the resources for that right now. So we are saving up for that right now. And I asked this to everybody, like, what difficulties were there when they started out. Okay. Next up, we only have a few last topics left, and then we're going to go off to the viewer questions section. Since you're working, you worked once with Parallel. What do you think that the team saw in you and they chose to work with you? Because they have editors, I'm pretty sure there's pretty good editors in their roster already, because you said you didn't join their team. But I'm pretty sure Beast2B joined their team and stuff. So what do you think made them choose you out of everybody and even their own personal roster? I mean, it's understandable sometimes, your personal roster is busy with other stuff, but there's tons of editors. Why do you think Parallel chose you?
A lot of the edits I do, I'm not trying to boast, but they're very creative and they have good execution in my eyes. My edits have really good execution and really good ideas incorporated into them. And I think that Parallel saw that and they were like, we should have this on our montage, something that's different, something that nobody else is doing. And they chose me.
Okay. Because I'm gonna be honest, I never lied to anybody about how I found out about them. I don't wanna lie to someone about how old I've known them. I've seen your name quite a lot on Twitter because of all the editing posts I'm involved in, but the only real edit I saw from you the first time, and I followed you, and that was when I saw the Parallel edit from you. And then my friend Watts told me that you guys had worked together before, way before.
Did he tell you how we worked together before?
No, he just told me that you guys worked together before, and he was like, okay, this guy's working for Parallel, look at that, that's so crazy. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that is amazing. Because I'd seen the edit, I didn't know you guys had worked together. And I'm like, I mentioned that edit to him, and he's like, oh yeah, we worked together before. And I was like, what the So, yeah, I don't know how you guys worked together. What was that?
You want to know?
Yeah.
So, I actually made a content video on my channel. It's not on the channel anymore. It's actually unlisted. But I did one of those. I paid 3 editors to make me a. And I found Watts on Fiverr, and we worked together. And he made the best edit out of all 3 of them. He was the second highest price, but he still made the best edit out of like the 3. And a lot of the people that were in my that were like watching the video were always like, we're all complimenting him. And I used to stream on YouTube, and one day he actually found the video, and he commented, and he was talking in stream, and from there I didn't know he had like a Twitter and everything, because not every like YouTuber has a Twitter. And then like recently I actually found him on Twitter again. It's just, I don't know, it's like a really coincidental thing, I guess, that like I found him on 3 different platforms without actually telling him what I am on each platform. I just find him.
Oh. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So wait, so he did win the out of the 3 editors in the video, he won.
I mean, there wasn't any winners, but he definitely had the best edit out of the people.
Okay, and when was this video made?
This was made quite a while. I wasn't editing Fortnite at the time. I think this was a year ago.
Because I've known Watts about a year and a half, maybe a year and 9 months, something like that.
It was definitely after that then, because it wasn't a crazy amount of time ago, but it was before I was big on Twitter, a lot before that.
Well, thing is, how I met Watts was the same community I mentioned. Right now I own it, but when this started I did not own it. Okay, I was just really dedicated with it because I was like, okay, this is something, somebody's doing something for the Middle Eastern community that I belong to, and I should be a part of this. And I was really dedicated, probably the most active in the server out of anybody, and that's why I'm the owner now, because the original owners have had to do other stuff. And gradually I became a helper in the server, then a staff, then an admin, and yeah, today I'm the owner. And when this server was started, they hosted the first competition, and it was Watts wasn't present there. And actually no, Watts was present there. So okay, so there was this thing. There was Pronab, if you know him. He's editing for Apex right now. And there's Watts, who's also editing for Apex right now. And Pronab was already pretty prominent in this community. He was like one of the best editors in Middle East. And then there was Jiggly Bubblegum, who was also another editor in the Middle East, and he was also pretty prominent. And these 2 guys were like, okay, I was like, okay, these 2 guys are my only competition here, even though I was like even shittier than I am right now. But at that time, these 2 guys were like the main. I was like, okay, these guys are the main competition. And Jiggly was not making an edit, I'm pretty sure, nor was Pronab, because these were the guys hosting the thing. So I was like, okay, this is easy. And I submit my edit, and Watts also submitted his edit. And even though he's nowhere, he was nowhere as good as he is right now. That was like, okay, where did this guy come from, you know? And that was really like his first edit that I saw. Back then, all of us had lower standards. It was like 2 years ago. We were just starting out editing. But I was like, okay, where did this guy come from? And then so this community, Astro, was initially called Pakistan Editing Community, because all of us belong to Pakistan, the country. Me, Watts, Pronab, Jiggly, everybody, all the owners of the server. And so that was PEC 1, Pakistan Editing Challenge 1. That happened. And then we hosted, I wasn't a part of the hosting team back then, but there was the second one. And this time, it wasn't like, the first one was Fortnite clips from Parallel, I'm pretty sure, or who was it from? It was either Parallel or Apex or something like that. We took trick shots. And the second one wasn't actually a cinematic edit thing, like BO2 prereqs, and you had to edit those. And there was okay. So I was like, I'm the kind of person who's like, I already scout out my competition before I submit, and that's what I did in the first one. And the second time, I knew, okay, Watts is going to be there, and I asked him, and he's like, I'm not going to be making an entry. I do not know how to edit cinematics. So yeah, that's where we've progressed from where he was and to where he is now. I don't know if you've seen his latest. But
Yeah.
it's actually like pretty crazy when I try to look back and stuff. So
Yeah.
and I mean, Watts is one of the best in, at least in the Middle Eastern region. I can definitely say that he's the top editor in the Middle East. Really talented, dedicated, and he's also the kind of person who tries new things with every single one of his edits. So yeah, that is well, this is an unexpected topic. We did not really mean to talk about this, but it came up. But yeah, that is it for the topics I had. Now we're going to be moving to the Twitter questions, and I'm aware that there's a lot of noise behind me. Please pardon me for that. I have family over still. They're gonna leave tomorrow. But yeah, it's been 3 podcasts with constant noise in the background, and I'm extremely sorry for that. But okay. The first question is actually really intriguing and nice. Okay. It's a really intriguing and good question. It comes from Aplexity. He asks, "How did you find your style?"
How I found my style is from the Instagram editing community. So a lot of what happens in the Instagram community is a lot of transitions, you try to make your edit as smooth as you can. You try to make your edit, it's mostly transitions and stuff. And a lot of, like the 2.5D is where that's where I discovered the 2.5D was in the Instagram editing community. And I later actually saw it from Thomas, who's really good now, who's like just crazy at 2.5, like better than anybody from the Instagram community at doing that 2.5D stuff. But like in terms of like the psychedelic style, like a combination of like just watching edits and just combining everybody's styles to make my own style, I'd say. So yeah, that's how I found my style, just watching other people's edits.
All right. So the next question is a little similar, but it's about somebody else asking about how they should implement their their style. And this comes from Solar. He asks, "I want to have a unique style, but at the same time, I have a style that is inspired by Jaw. Can you give me a recommendation when it comes to trying to find my own style?"
Yeah, look at the editors around you. Look at whose styles that you really admire, whose styles that you want to look like, and combine those styles. And just because you're using their styles doesn't mean that it won't be unique to you. You can combine everybody's styles into one. So combination and execution is probably the best way to implement your own style.
All right. Okay, so this is the best viewer question thing. Okay, I'm going to give this guy an award. This is a really good question. Power Edits asks, "Do you think you need to enjoy editing to be very skilled at it, or hard work beats talent?"
So I actually did read this question. I was actually looking at a few of these questions on Twitter, and I was just trying to like get myself prepared for certain like some of these. So question was, you should you enjoy it, or hard work beats talent? So in terms of enjoying it, you don't need to enjoy it to be skilled at it. Although you will be a lot better at editing if you enjoy what you're doing, because you'll have more motivation to do it. You'll be more motivated to learn. And in terms of hard work beats talent, every time. Only when talent doesn't work, though. If you have talent and you don't work and use that to your fullest advantage, hard work will always beat you every time.
Okay, so since this is such a great question, I would also like to give my opinion to this. Um, so here's what I think. I feel like obviously hard work can beat talent, because even if you're talented, it's I believe that you should work hard towards what you're doing. Even if you enjoy editing, and even if you're talented at it, it doesn't mean you get to take an easy break. You should still work hard doing what you do. And do you need to enjoy editing to be very skilled at it? No. It's a practically like mathematics. A lot of people do not enjoy mathematics, but just because they study it day and night because of fear of getting bad marks or something, they can be good at it. It can be applied to studies, anything really. You can hard work can beat talent if talent isn't properly utilized. If a talented person works hard and then a non-talented or a someone who doesn't enjoy editing and that person works hard, that competition cannot be made. If a talented hardworking person has to compete with a non-talented or someone who doesn't enjoy editing, hardworking person, then the talented hardworking person will always win. But if someone who's talented, what is wrong with my English? They don't put time and hard work into their art, then somebody who doesn't enjoy it but just works hard at it, they can definitely beat it. Then this doesn't just apply to editing, it applies to everything in life. You don't need to enjoy something to be very skilled at it, but in my personal opinion, if you're going to do something as a career, you're gonna be doing it for 25-30 years of your life, at least 25 to 30 years of your life. And if you don't enjoy something and you have to do it every single day for 25 to 30 years of your life, I don't feel like you're gonna be very happy. So this is why I've always been a big advocate of making what you enjoy doing a career, which is what I did with editing. And yeah, so that's what I think. Next question by Hats Edits. He says, how does he get effing creative ideas in mind?
Watching edits.
Watching other people, simply.
Yeah, just experiences, like past experiences. You just gotta think. You really gotta just delve deep into your mind and think, hey, what hasn't anybody done, and what should I do? That would be really cool. Like, just think of some ideas that nobody else has.
Okay.
Make sure you can do them.
I mean, yeah, some people are naturally, going back to the talent thing, some people naturally get some really good ideas, which is what I think is the case with Shaail. Shaail has so many good ideas. Like, every single edit of his has like 15 different unique ideas. I think that creativity comes naturally to him. But yeah. Next question comes from Holy Skiat. I don't know what that. Okay. He says, is there any reason to edit Fortnite outside of money?
If you enjoy it, yeah. For me, no. Well, I did enjoy it recently, but at this current point, I don't actually take money. I'm only taking money from one client currently. I haven't done it I haven't taken any money projects in almost a year. But if you enjoy editing Fortnite, you don't have to really do it for money.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Next question comes from Turbo Building. He asks, how old is Tribe?
I'm actually 10 years old. I'm currently 21. I graduated from college, so I'm just doing this for fun and kill time.
Alright, and final question comes from Jax VFX. He asks, what do you want to do in the future? I mean, you kind of already mentioned that, but in a bit more detail.
So I want to go full-time editing. I want to do motion design. My uncle does motion design, so I'd like to not work with him, but kind of do the same work as him. But working with my uncle would definitely be pretty cool. Just because I've ever since I was little, he's been doing motion design, and he's been doing a lot of projects with like big companies. So I want to do what he does, you know.
Huh. So yeah, I mean that is about it for the podcast today. I'm trying to do like shorter ones because like most people can't sit down and watch 2 hour long podcasts. So these mostly, like the last few podcasts have been an hour 30, 40, 50, something like that. I think they're doing really well, so I can see that people like watching a shorter version. That's why I'm trying to compress the whole thing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this one too, and I promise the next one will have less background noise. But yeah, there's really not much I can do about this. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast, Tribe.
Thank you for having me, dude. It was fun.
Yeah. Good luck to you with your future projects. I'm really excited to see the Shaail X Tribe collab. So
oh yeah, it's nice.
So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you to Tribe for coming on, and I will see you all in the next episode. And there's a few updates regarding the editor cast coming out soon that'll also be posted on my channel most likely. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.